everybody. We're so happy to see you again. This is Monica McAfee at John Knox Village, and I am the Chief Marketing and Innovation Officer. And we have a very special guest with us today, our wonderful Director of Operations, Tom Price. And I'll be able to share a little bit more about Tom and what he's going to be presenting for us today. So for some of you, you may be familiar with much of this content and material, and for others, you may have been traveling or you may have missed our last update for our priority depositors. So I apologize if some of it's repetitive. I want you to take notes while we're presenting, and then we can answer questions. And as always, if we can't answer them in today's session, we promise we'll get back with you. So we're just going to go over just a general overview of where we are with Westlake, the view and the terrace, which you're very familiar with now. We're going to look at some of the highlights of the floor plans. I want Tom to be able to share with you generally information about the storage areas and parking and those questions. We've been getting a series of questions, and we're compiling a frequently asked question document. So you all will be receiving that through email as well as print it. We'll be sending that to you, and we'll keep that going as we get more and more questions. Of course, you're gonna get to meet Tom. We're gonna give you the aerial view of JKV. We just always want to show that because it just gives you some great perspective. Update on where we are with the new Welcome and Innovation Center. We're so delighted to be here. An update on the Aquatic complex, great progress happening there. Our pavilion and the groundbreaking for that and the anticipated opening for that. The restaurants that'll be featured, as well as I mentioned the animation video, and then our Westlake Village Club, and then we'll take your questions. So let's get started. So we take a look now at, of course, the beautiful view from East Lake. So looking from the east towards the west, looking towards Castles Tower, which is typically the building you all see from I-95. And you see that the lake has really expanded, and you can see in the background, the building, the view, and then in front of that, in the foreground, you can see the terrace. And then the tree area just in front of all of that, which we call the Grove, and Village Tower over to the right. So as you know, there are 150 apartment homes. We have locked into our pricing. The benefit for you all in this priority deposit phase is that you have put yourself in the queue to help select your apartment home earlier than anybody else, than the general public, if you will, because you're in line earlier. And it gives you the opportunity to really look at the direction you would prefer, the size of the floor plan you would prefer. And then it gives you the opportunity to really do some planning around the financial piece. So again, you know, just looking at that 150, the 1 bedroom plus den, we're also, we don't have all the details on this yet, but we're looking to partner with another company called Ori, O-R-I, and you can look them up online. And they do some really incredible space saving types of opportunities. For those of you who might be interested in the 1 bedroom den, it's kind of a mechanized Murphy bed, if you will, and desk and work area. So it's a way to maximize your space. So that might be something really interesting to share in our next presentation, where we just had that meeting last week. So we'll be getting more information to you on that. So that gives you, again, the pricing and the monthly service fees, the range on that. I want to review the time frame again. So we're doing these $100 deposits through March of 2021. And then we move into our 10% phase. And that is the time where we'll be reaching out to each of you, and we'll be saying, okay, we're going to the 10% phase. We're going to look at the floor plans with you. We've got this amazing technology, touchscreen technology we're going to work through, so you can actually see the layout of the buildings, and then you can identify each unit, each apartment home, and then it will help you with your decision-making process. So we'll go to that 10% phase. And of course, our current residents and you as our priority depositors have first right of refusal on that inventory. So then of those 150 units, we have to get deposits in the amount of 105, which is 70%. As you know, we're really an insurance brokerage, if you will. We provide insurance for you with long-term care for your health needs as you need them in the future. So we work with the Department of Insurance, and in order to move this project forward, we must have 105 full 10% deposits. And we're feeling very confident about that right now. To share with you that we're at about 204 priority deposits right now, excluding our residents, and we have currently 30 residents. We know that not all 30 of those residents will move in, and we know that of those 204, not everyone on the 204 will continue with the process and go to the 10%, which is why we want to get more people in the queue. And our objective and what we've learned is of those 204, we probably have a solid between 60 and 75 people who are very serious, and they're constantly reaching out to us to say, is this going to go any sooner? Can this go any faster? And there's a very strong possibility that we may be able to do that. So we're just really going to have to see what the next couple of months bring. And as you know, this has just been an unprecedented time with what's going on in the world. So I'm greatly inspired and optimistic about it, because despite COVID, we still have this tremendous interest in it. I'd also share that because if you look at the construction phase from February of 22 to April of 24, people who are in that younger age range of even 58, 50, we've even talked to people who are 55, and they have a partner who might be 62 by the time they move in. This is perfect for many people as well. So we'll move through to the next slide. And I have to mention that we have our wonderful Thomas Rodriguez here. I call him our webinar whisperer, helping me navigate, and Tom as well, get through these slides. Another just lovely perspective of the view and the terrace buildings. And you can see that really one of the things that we wanted to do, and Tom Price was such an advocate for this, to make sure that the access to the lake area was pedestrian friendly so that everyone could enjoy the lake, because right now you really have to be living in one of those villas to really enjoy the lake. So we'll go through, this just is like a highlight of just some pointers to keep in mind. 15 stories for the view, 11 stories for the terrace. Really want to emphasize that on the first floor of this area of both buildings, predominantly over in the view area, you're going to have most of your amenities. So you'll have access to a sacred space, and you're going to have access to an art studio and a theater, and the Westlake Eatery, and the French Press Wine and Bakery and Wine Bar. And then in the residential area of the terrace, there'll be a fitness studio, smaller fitness studio, as well as kind of a gathering party room, if you will, that'll open up into a lobby. And then of course your mailboxes. Then if you recall, the covered parking is going to be on the second and third floor, and then the residents start above on the fourth floor. And Tom can walk us through a little bit of that. These are some great new renderings. Some of you may be familiar with them. We're going to show these all the time to you, because it's a really important reminder for you to understand how light and bright and beautiful these spaces are. And to remind you as well that we're working with an international award-winning architectural firm on this project, Perkins Eastman. And you can see how spacious the settings are and how beautiful they are. Now, this is a really important part of the whole experience of these two buildings, and there's nothing like it even right now on our campus with these types of expansive views, the way it's going from west or east to west or west to east. So the top image in the top left is a perspective from the view and also from the terrace that gives you this expansive view of the villas as well as the entire lake, looking east towards the ocean. And then lower, it gives you the perspective of what it would look like from your living, dining, kitchen area and all of that beautiful glass. And then again, from the balcony outdoors on the exterior of the building to take a look at what that's like. So now I get to introduce you to Tom Price. And Tom is an unbelievable partner in everything that we're doing here at John Knox Village. He has helped us transform our campus. For some of you who are familiar with John Knox Village, you're aware that we have been very successful through Tom's leadership and his team in doing combo apartment homes for us, because the way people lived 53 years ago, they don't live that way today. But Tom's leadership has ensured that. Tom has an unbelievable career and experience in all aspects of construction, building, and design. And he has helped us with our village center, with Seaside Cove, He helps us operationally with everything related to everything on campus, the woodlands. He's working right now on the aquatic complex, which he'll tell you more about, and he works closely with us as we develop the master plan. And his insights are invaluable, and we're delighted he's here with us today. So welcome, Tom Price. So we'll go to the next slide. Oh, Tom, I think you might be on mute. Okay, there you go. That's going to be the catchphrase, everyone, for the whole of 2020. I think you're on mute.
Yeah. So welcome, everybody. Again, my name is Tom Price. I'm Director of Operations here at John Knox Village. Excited to be here with you today and talk about everything that we have going on. In the last 3 or 4 years, we've really made some changes here at John Knox Village as we've moved forward and tried to bring more and more amenities into the campus. As Monica mentioned, we renovated our 2-story health center. We built a new fitness studio that has all the best equipment for aerobics and weights as a place for aerobics. We built a new dog park for those that are pet friendly and want to get outside with their pets and enjoy them. We've built a new welcome center that we call the Welcome and Innovation Center, where Monica and her team are. That's at the northeast entrance to the property. And one of our really exciting projects that we have going on now is our new aquatic center that's attached to the village center and auditorium that we have currently. And in the west end of that village center, we are building a new restaurant called the Glades Grill that will have dining inside as well as seating outside, and will also be able to help us host a lot of fun events at the aquatic center where they can do the food prep ahead of time and then bring it out and serve it out on the deck, a deck that is large enough to accommodate over 500 people. So we got a lot going on, and it's really gone through a lot of changes.
Tom, if you want to talk a little bit about the apartment homes and generally how they were designed, and if you want to highlight maybe perhaps where storage units might be located and elevators, and just some information about construction around the building.
Okay, so as Monica mentioned, the first floor of the tower building has all of the common amenities. We have art studios, we have some different areas to sit and dine. There's another, which will actually be the 5th dining venue there on the first floor, which is kind of like you would have in a kind of a mall environment where you go in, you could pick and choose from a couple different types of food. There's a theater. There's a lot of amenities on the first floor. The second and third floor are the parking deck that'll house the 125 cars. And then from there, we go up to the independent living units. All of the independent living units have a great view. There's no bad view, whether you're in the 15-story tower or the 11-story tower. There is a great view, and the storefront has been turned such so that we pick up some additional square footage, but also to enhance that view. The kitchens will have all the latest appliances. We are doing smart home technology in the homes, so that'll be on kind of a menu type situation. If you're interested in just the entertainment side, then we'll have a menu of things that will address that, whether it be TV and music and that type of venue. Or if you're into a little bit deeper, you want to have it also control your thermostat, where you can tell it to change the temperature or lower the lights. We'll have that type. The amenities will all be built in, so it's ready to go. And then there's also a healthcare piece that if you get into more of the home healthcare type stuff, there's other healthcare pieces that can be added to it, so that you can, if you need to be monitored on a constant basis, the smart home technology we're putting into the initial tower will be able to adapt to that. So it's, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna, if you could mention what we're doing with the bathrooms as far as the showers, the construction on that.
Absolutely. So the showers, we're looking at an upgrade. And if you've seen any of the into the housing magazines, you know, you're going to more of a, instead of a step over the curb type shower, more of a zero entry shower where the drain is built into the edge of the shower along where the door would be. So it's zero entry with glass doors and glass surroundings, full tile, high-end fixtures, Corian quartz, granite countertops, depending on the resident selection, but a lot of it is the quartz, the upgrade. All the cabinets are wood cabinets. We don't have any inexpensive cabinets that would have particle board or other products that would cause problem with moisture. We look for these units to last. I always tell everybody, I get to build them and then I get to maintain them. So we look at it from an operations standpoint, what's going to work, what lasts, what will be the least amount of issues for our residents and least amount of maintenance.
So here we are just going through some of the floor plans, and you can see how the square footage increases with certain apartment homes. And what I would suggest is some next steps for those of you who are on the call today would be to really take a look at these floor plans. I know they've been sent to you. You also have access to them online, and we can, I think it would be a good idea to just start thinking about where you might want to be in the building. And if you have any specific questions about any of the designs, Tom, I know people asked about the utility, closets. And I think one of them, because it was one of the larger apartment homes, there needed to be 2 utilities or 2 mechanicals.
Yeah, some of the homes, there's a couple reasons you would have 2 mechanical closets. One could be the size of the unit itself. The second unit could be that you have a unit that has maybe 2 exposures. So maybe one side is facing the east, the other side is facing the south. And because of that, you can have 2 different heat loads. But also in some of the larger units, for example, this unit here, the east exposure and the north exposure are going to pick up more heat as opposed to the south and the west exposure. So we would probably put you could put 2 different units in this, for example, if you were trying to isolate the living area from the bedroom area. So you had 2 different thermostats. That's why we would have 2 units. And some of them do have, multiple units do have 2 units, depending on the exposure. North exposure doesn't pick up as much heat as southern exposure, for example. So all that was taken into consideration. We do bring in fresh air into this building 24/7, 24 days a week, 7 days. We're bringing in fresh makeup air and pressurizing the building so that we're exhausting, continually also exhausting air and just air that we lose through doors being open and exhaust fans and other fans. So we're continuing bringing in fresh makeup air.
So I want you also to make note of the compass that's in the lower right-hand corner of the rendering. And then if you go back one slide, Thomas, if you don't mind, to 16, for example, to orient you to this area of these 2 particular apartments side by side, they're facing east, and one is facing southeast and the other is facing northeast. So you have those 2 apartments have really striking waterfront direct views from those 2 apartments. So we'll just go through these very quickly. We know that you're generally familiar with them. You might want to spend more time, as I mentioned. The other thing is just to emphasize there's laundry in each apartment home. You'll have the ability to make your selections on your cabinetry and your countertops. There'll be some selections available for tile as well as flooring. And then Tom did mention all of the options that will take place for that smart home technology living and how that will continue to just evolve just culturally for all of us. So the next thing Tom gets to talk about is our Welcome and Innovation Center, where we're coming to you today live.
This is the Judah Welcome and Innovation Center. So as you walk in, the picture up to the upper left-hand corner would be as you walked in our front door. And then off to your right immediately to your right would be the receptionist. And then to what we call the design center area. And the lower right-hand picture shows kind of the center of the design center, where you can walk in here, you'll be able to see all of the cabinets. You actually see a working cabinet. These aren't just cabinet fronts. You can open the doors, the drawers. You see how they operate. They all have the soft close Bloom hardware, which is the best cabinet hardware that's out there. You'll be able to pick out different surfaces for your countertops, whether you like granite or you like quartz. There'll be different selections of that shown right with your cabinet. So you can mix and match and say, okay, I like this top, and you slide it over. Above that, we also have Backsplash Material. And we've put together ones that our interior designers have put together some combinations. So it's pre-done for you. You can take a look at it and say, I love it. Or you can say, what if I switch this backsplash to this backsplash? And you can just physically slide it over and get a feel for how that would look. And then there's the flooring material also, samples up there. So you can see different floors. You can take the pieces up, lay them on the floor beside the cabinet. It really gives you a chance to get a really good feel for how your kitchens and bathrooms would look, which are your kind of main areas that you're picking the stuff for. As well as there's we have a system, what's it called, Monica? We'll get your help here. Where
Engrain software, where we'll do the touch screen technology to be able to tour the floors and the actual apartment homes.
So you can actually go through that and look at different floor plans and how the flooring would go and ask questions. And then when you've got it all figured out or pretty close to figuring it out, we can actually take it to units that have been completed that will have these cabinets or this finish on the countertops or this backsplash or this flooring, and you can actually see it and what it would look like. Maybe not your specific unit, but you can get a feel for it, how it's going to look in a larger environment.
We're really excited about that opportunity. We've got a wonderful move-in coordinator and manager that can help you with that. They help you with all the design aspects of that, as well as helping you when you transition from your current residence to John Knox Village. So don't forget, we really want to be able to help you with that. We know that that's a daunting task. So now, Tom, you get to chat about the Aquatic complex, and that's really coming to life.
Yeah, this is a project we're really, really excited about. As in the upper left-hand photo, the building up in the upper left-hand corner, that's our village center in the very upper left. That building currently has a 250-seat auditorium and a meeting room. And then in the very right where he's pointing now, we have the new restaurant, which is Glade's Grill. And it seats about 55 people inside. And then we have outdoor seating right there. And then the new Aquatic Center, there's another building to the upper left-hand corner, I'm sorry, right beside that. It's called Striker's Grill. There's restrooms outside in that building. Very nice high-end restrooms. We have showers, locker rooms. The restroom is air conditioned, so you can go in there and you can get showered if you like. You need to change clothes, you can, but it is conditioned space. And then we have some storage buildings. And then out front, we have two brand new pools. One is the pool in the lower section. It's a lap pool. It is 75 feet by about 30 feet. It has 4 lanes in it. And then in the upper pool is a resort. We call it the resort pool. It has a more curved shapes to it. It has a seating bench inside. It has a handicap ramp access that walks in if you need some assistance to hold on until you get to where it's, you have more flotation and stuff. And then we have a spa that's associated with the resort pool. Both of these pools and the spa are controlled by different heaters. They're separate systems so that the temperature in the lap pool can be adjusted different than the resort pool, which is different than the spa. And all three are we call them, it's a saltwater system as opposed to chlorine. It's really a saline pool is what it is. It's much better for your clothing. It's much better for your skin. And these pools all together in a 24-hour period pump over 1 million gallons of water in circulation. So these are extremely large. There's a lot of room for everybody here. Striker's Bar Pub. Here's a good picture of it. It hosts about 64 people undercover. It is open air, so the side that faces the pools is open. So we have we have louvers on the other side of the building. We have these large fans at the top. So it's intended to be an outdoor seating, a lot of open air flow coming through it. And we're looking forward to having a lot of nice functions out here that can be supported by Glades Grill. And at the same time, if you just want to come out here and relax with your friends, have wine or cold beer or Coca-Cola, whatever your pleasure is, it's just a great place. It's a good destination to go. You'll always be in the shade here. The sun on this building is on the south side, so you're shaded automatically. Plus, in front of this, if we could go back one picture, for the pools, you'll see these large sails. Those attached to the building, and we're creating a lot of shade over the resort pool particularly. And then to the right or to the west, we also have in front of the building, we have 2 bocce ball courts that are partially shaded, and we have 2 pickleball courts that have even more shade. So we're really trying to create a destination that can easily accommodate right at 600 people on the deck and in the pool at a time and not feel crowded. It's going to be shaded. The air is going to be able to flow through those. So we're really looking forward to it. We're looking at completing that construction and wrapping up the final permits sometime in December. So 2021 should be a fun time here at the Aquatic Center.
I would also add that we are working diligently behind the scenes with our wonderful fitness manager, Marcia Dixon, and then Jameson Becker, who's our life enrichment manager. They've been ordering fabulous equipment, and we've been working with our dining director, Joe Mallon, for various events that we'll host there. And then in the cooler months, we'll be hosting our outdoor happy hours, as well as when things cool down a little bit, there's access to fire pits. And we really do see it becoming a destination area. We're also going to be doing how to kayak opportunities and even some diving. And Tom Price, I know, is working on his diving certification. So I'm sure he'll be out there with our president and CEO, Jerry Stryker, maybe leading some of those classes. So never a dull moment here. There will be many, many things for us to enjoy and do over in that area. As Tom said, it really will become a destination. So the next thing Tom gets to share with you is an update on where we are with the pavilion.
Okay, so the picture you're looking at now would be if you were at Castle's Tower, which is the tallest building on campus. It'll now be rivaled by the new building, but we're looking kind of northeast right now at the new pavilion, and the pavilion construction actually starts this coming Monday. We start driving the sheet piling, which creates this bulkhead wall at the lake. And then they will start working on foundation work. We're looking at completing that pavilion in first quarter of 2022. So all of next year will be under construction, but wrapping it up towards the end of the year. The new pavilion here has another auditorium inside it that seats 400 people. Monica and her team will be bringing in all kinds of events for that. It also is going to host 2 new restaurants in a lounge area. So you would enter the building and into the lounge. Here we go. So here's the lounge. You'd be walking into the bar area here at the center photo. And if you go right or left, you go into 2 different restaurants. So I have 2 different flavors, so to speak. So at the completion of this project, John Knox Village will have 4 very distinct, different eating venues on campus between the Bistro, the Glades, Sea Glass Restaurant, and the Pearl. You're going to have a lot of choices of what type of food you want. And then when the tower is completed, we will be adding the 5th location, which is here. You see the eatery, and the eatery has a multitude of different types of food there that you could pick up. whether it be pizza maybe or sandwiches at one end, just depending on what you're looking for. So your eating selections here on campus are going to be awesome. They're going to be really nice.
The other thing to just mention to everybody, and it was in an earlier slide, again, as the lake is expanded, it gives everyone access to that lake, like things you've seen in the Riverwalk in San Antonio or the Riverwalk even down at Las Olas. So that promenade area goes all the way around that area to be able to enjoy that, as well as we worked recently with the architects and the designers on the furniture for all of that area. So there's places to sit and really enjoy the space without having to dine. So it's just another destination. It would be a great spot to meet before you go into the pavilion for any type of entertainment we might be hosting. I want to mention too, in the pavilion, we worked with a really fabulous lighting, sound, and theatrical design team. So we're going to have access to excellent lighting and sound, and we already do some really fabulous programming, and we will actually be doing even better programming because we'll be able to accommodate not full Broadway stage productions, but scaled productions that we can actually use, you know, lighting and the curtains, and it's really very exciting. And we're also following guidelines to become a site for TEDx talks. So we're very excited about that. And of course, our partnerships with the area universities. So next we get to enjoy the video for the bird's eye view, if you will, of visiting Westlake. So I'm so excited about that piece, and I think it just brings everything to life for you all, and I hope you've enjoyed that and spend some time with it. One thing I want to add too, we're waiting to get these back. We want to just do a little bit more work to the renderings. We've received them from the landscape architect, but we have perspectives from different heights in the buildings. so that you can see what it might be like to be on the 4th floor versus the 12th floor, and giving you views from different directions, looking east, looking west. I know many people ask questions. So what's the view going to really be like from looking west from the view over towards Castle's Tower? So we will have some of those for you for the next presentation as well. So we're so excited. We're going to be able to invite you all to a Priority Depositors holiday soiree. We're going to be doing that in December, and we'll be doing that safely. As you know, we're really continue to do such a wonderful job, and I'm so proud of what John Knox Village has been able to accomplish during this time with keeping not only the residents safe, but the staff safe as well. And I don't know if people have caught it on the local news, but we're always kind of the go-to place for best practices. So Tom, do you have anything to add about the building or any of your projects? I know you're very, very busy, and we're delighted you could be with us today.
No, that's all I have right now to add, so we're good.
There's one other project that Tom's working on, and we'll give you all some more updates on that in December as well. That we have an exciting partnership with HealthStat and Johns Hopkins and Holy Cross. So what used to be our professional building will now be the Center for Healthy Living. And we look at that opening in January. So residents and staff will have access to healthcare through HealthStat, Hopkins, and Holy Cross, which is very, very impressive. So there's more to come on that as well. So let's see if we have any questions. Where are the trash chutes? Tom, would you like to, if we could pull up maybe one of the plans of one of the apartment homes, and we can look at just below. I don't know, Tom, just that it doesn't give us enough.
No, the trash chutes in the building though are if you walk down the hallway to the center of the building, the trash chute is in the center, not too far off from where one of the main elevator banks are. So it's about the center of the building. And if we had a floor plan, I could.
So you know what we'll do? So at the next presentation, we will focus in on the schematic drawings of the building. So where we can focus on the elevators and the trash chutes and the storage areas for everybody. Let's see. Are there trash chutes in a room? Yes.
Trash room.
Yeah. And then the question is, how are parking spots assigned? Again, that's going to go based on priority of when you made your deposit and then the proximity of your home to the parking. So that's how that will play out. So for example, if someone doesn't decide to do a 10% deposit until 2023, and we've already sold a majority of those apartment homes on a particular floor, the parking that's closer to where that person is in the building, we're going to try to put people as close to those elevators and where the accessibility of their apartment home is. But again, the benefit for you all as priority depositors is you're going to have you'll be first in queue for those assignments. Let's see, do all units have balconies you can sit on? Tom, do you want to answer that? We don't have balconies on all of the apartment homes, but a majority of them. Tom, you're on mute.
I was trying to keep all the other noise in my office from coming through. We'd have to know exactly which unit you're talking about to answer that question, because there is a difference. I don't believe everyone has a balcony that you step out on. Actually, I think we did go back and add that. So I think we do. We need to get to.
No, we don't. Not every apartment home has a balcony. The majority of them do. So again, you really need to look at the floor plans and look if that's something that's really important to you. We can hone in on those apartment homes. You may say you want specific exposure, and then you may say you want a specific view. So we can share that with you as well. I really do think the next thing is very important for you to really work with your life plan consultants on that. We have another question about the completion of the aquatic complex. And I just want to share with you all, we always preface any project that we work here at John Knox Village. We have an anticipated date. We had been hoping we would be through by the end of October. We weren't sure how COVID was going to play out. Tom can share some information about holdups we had with some manufacturers. And then you also have to remember that there are permitting issues with the health department. And Tom, you could go into a little bit more detail on that and why we're anticipating a little bit of a delay now.
Yeah, I think the question was whether it's winter of 2021 or winter of 2020. Yes, we will be wrapping up the Aquatic Center this year. We have lost time in the Aquatic Center, probably lost 2 to 3 months. Part of that, a good piece of that, was due to the COVID. We've had just about every material delay you can think of in one way or another. Things you just don't even think about, can't get your hands on. The distribution across this country has been that way. But we are wrapping it up. All of the pools are built, are gunnited. They have the tile work put in them right now. The pool equipment is in and installed. The piping is in and installed. The structures are built. We are literally stuccoing those buildings as we speak right now. So we are looking at wrapping up that project at the end of this year, 2020, fully functional and permitted and signed off of early 2021.
So I will say though, in early 2021, to get back to that point, is that we're hoping we'll be able to implement classes and events. The grand openings, if you will probably not be until January. So we just want to be, clear that we have a little flexibility in there. So I know we're looking at doing the ribbon cutting, groundbreaking of the ribbon cutting of the Welcome and Innovation Center, groundbreaking for the Center for Healthy Living, and then the opening of the aquatic complex. And that will all take place in January. Now, if there was a question, and Tom, you can point this out. If you look at the Westlake Siesta D, which is up right now, and you see at the end of the island there is a black bar there, if you will, but it's actually, that's a support beam, isn't it not?
Yeah, that's one of the columns in the building. It's you can't have it big a clear span, so that's one of the structural columns in the building. It'll be finished, and
Okay, so the storage will, as I mentioned, will be showing really kind of a focused view of that on each floor, so we can show you about that. I believe, Tom, weren't they about 4 by 5? And I wasn't sure on the height on the storage areas. But they're all on the floor in which you live.
Correct. We do have storage units for every unit on the floor that you're on. The storage units, one question has been, are they air conditioned? Yes, they are air conditioned, so it's a conditioned space. The units are, I believe they're a little bit larger than 4 by 5, but not appreciably larger than that. So that's the range. And they're all the same. And we have put that question out to try to get an exact measurement for the architect. So we can put that in frequently asked questions and get that answer back, but that's about the size.
Well, and the other question, Tom, and we've answered it before, is that everything is vented outside, just like it's,
right.
The washer, dryer, and microwave, and
everything is vented. Yeah. Everything is vented out. So we're not using ventless dryers on this project.
Well, and the same for the microwave, correct?
Well, on the hoods now in the kitchens, the hood, or either the hood exhaust or the microwave, depends on how you're using it. That'll be recirculated within the apartment standard. We're not exhausting that to the outside.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. That's very helpful. Let's see if we have anything else. I think we've gotten all the questions. We really appreciate you coming back. If you've got any other additional questions, we are only a phone call away, an email away. We would be delighted for you if you'd like to come and visit us at the Welcome and Innovation Center. You do not have to wait for the holiday soiree to come and visit. We do screening at the gate. We ask people to wear masks. And again, we are really concerned about your well-being, safety, and care. So I just want to thank Tom for joining us again. He's doing such a great job with his team. Also, for some of you, if you're just really new to the whole experience of John Knox Village, you may have visited some of our current apartment homes, but you're always welcome to come back and look at some models, and we could show you those. And you could also, Tom mentioned that, where you could get then a feel for what it's like. Will there be a 13th floor?
Not one that has a 13 on it.
No, there will be no number 13. Although we'll have a Friday the 13th very soon in November. We will not host a webinar on that day. Let's see, we've already answered that question. So anywhere you see a dark space on the model where it's completely filled in like that rectangle, that is a column, and that's related to the construction of the building. So thank you so much. We're delighted you could join us. Tom, thanks again. It's great to see everybody virtually. And again, we'll look forward to connecting with you. And I do encourage you to reach out to your life plan consultants and really start looking at those plans. And just take care, stay safe, and be well.